Okay. Okay, we're good to go.
Are you able to share?
Let's see.
Looks
Okay,
good. Yeah,
good.
great.
Okay, so it's just time to go.
Yeah, I think you can
Okay. All right. Good
start off.
morning. Good morning, fellow librarians, fellow school librarians. My name is Jamie Rue. I am a part of the charter school system with Chicago Public Schools, and I have been in this profession for about 20 years. So I would like to share with you my systems for managing behaviors in classrooms as we see them once a week for a short amount of time. So we're going to get right into it. All right. So, like I said, my background includes education in fine arts, classroom teacher for third through fifth grade. I am school library media specialist, department chair, and instructional coach for the specialist areas at my school. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns um, during this time or after this time. I'll be happy.
Hey, Jamie,
Hi.
do you have everything you need to get started? We can. It looks like you're trying to share your screen.
Yes, and I was talking so nobody could see, nobody hears or sees me.
Okay, now we do. We got it.
Oh, well, maybe. Okay. All right.
Can we just back up a second?
No problem. No
All
problem.
right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good morning, fellow school librarians. It is so good to be here with you. My name is Jamie Rue, and I'm here to share with you some information and some tips and strategies regarding classroom behavior management in the school library. So just to start, there I am, and here I am, an educator mainly in Chicago and Chicago Public Schools and charter schools with, of course, elementary. My school is pre-K to eighth grade, but I mainly see kindergarten through eighth graders. I am also a department chair and instructional coach for the specialist areas teachers at my school. And feel free to reach out to me after this presentation for any further questions or concerns by way of the phone number and the email address, which I'll provide at another time as well. Okay, so within this meeting, mics can be muted. If level one, that's just the typing of the keyboard in the chat. And when you want to unmute or ask a question, please speak at a level 2. In order to get help, please feel free to type concerns into the chat or raise a hand via Remo. Our activity today is all about management strategies for truly setting behavioral expectations for school librarians and our wonderful students. Movement as needed. Turn your camera off if you do leave. Activity. I just want you to take this in, listen, think about it, question, and then hopefully act. So to be successful, I hope that you're able to take away something that I share with you today that you can apply in your library space tomorrow. So this right here, I'm going through what I do with classes once they come into the library. It is a high level of organization in this LRC space, the Library Resource Center. So when it comes to children coming in or classes coming in, that's one of the first things that I do outside of the arrival activity and the entrance procedure. So about the subject, one of the first principles that I worked under said to my face, if you can't manage the students, you can't teach your lesson. And I really received that no matter how well we're prepared, if we don't have a system of organizing our children into spaces that make sense for our lesson, it's gone. Also, this means that we need to have relationships within our classroom, library space with different classrooms. We need to have relationships, even though we only see them once a week. So get to know their names. That's definitely a tip. Also, Jesse K. Smith principle, along those lines with research that I'm doing, learning cannot occur without discipline. So even though they're in the library, this is not a public library. So they have to address it as a school library, and it starts with you. You set the expectations for how they interact with you and your space. For me, students require transparency, consistency, and informal and formal assessments. So when I say informal, it's as simple. I mean, I integrate sign language, American Sign Language, into when I'm working with students. And so if I'm asking a whole class question, they're signing yes or they're signing no. Since I sometimes say I'm allergic to noise or noise pollution. I need high structure. So that means that I need silence. I need level 0 when I'm instructing. I'm not my best when there's a lot of sounds and movement going around, especially if I'm giving directions and expectations. So informal hand signs work, or if you use a sticky, green or red, or if they just simply raise their hand or fold their arms or tap the top of their head to communicate with you silently, by all means do it, because that also lets them interact with you in ways that they're not used to interacting or communicating with. So at the door, question, would you let someone walk into your home unannounced? I would not. Most of us probably would not. And then, can a SPED mindset help school librarians manage their classes? I say no to walking into your home unannounced, and I say yes to, can a SPED mindset help librarians manage their classes? So here you see the teacher, that image is standing on the outside of the door. For my library, I am at the door greeting them. I have a timer in my hand of 3 minutes, because if you look in the upper right-hand corner, there are 4 different kinds of flashcards: the alphabet, sight words, multiplication, division. Depending on the grade level, they get that particular flashcard in order to come in. Once they come in, there's an arrival activity, be it on the board, be it on their table. They are to do something silently when they come in. Usually lights are low because I want to have a buildup. I don't want it to be, we come on in and let's do this, let's do that. We need to build that up. So starting at 0, and 0 includes their volume. So like I said, I'm at the door. If they give the wrong answer for the flashcard, go to the end and try again. That's exactly what I say. Go to the end and try again. I'm all about accountability. I'm all about making mistakes so that they can learn from their mistakes, and preparedness. If you know that you're not doing well in math facts, you don't want to go to the end to try again. So they may have their planners right there with them so they can look at their multiplication table chart in order to give me the correct product. And that's okay, because they're being resourceful. They're using the tools that we've given them in order to be successful, just to enter this space. So I only give it 3 minutes. I'm not their math teacher, but this is the way that I'm able to align to the overall goals of the school's administration. Our reading scores, we want them to be as high as possible. Our math scores, we want them to be as high as possible. So this little 3-minute time, it works wonders, and they're prepared. Now, sometimes I have them keep the flashcard, and then we have the part of the arrival activity involves that. And sometimes not. I keep the flashcard. But that is a surefire way to let them know that I see you, I welcome you, but I'm expecting your brain power at the door. So feel free to go to a dollar store and get some flashcards if that's what if you want to support this kind of system with your entrance procedure. This is something that I learned from my SPED programming in my graduate school program for elementary school teaching. The SPED teacher said, this is your space. So therefore, you need to protect it, create those boundaries so that children can respect it. Then we can teach. So that's where the SPED mindset comes into play. Also, with my lesson plans and for my team's lesson plans, we include accommodations that could help any child. Extended time to respond, a change of seats because they all have assigned seats as well. That helps me get to know their names. That helps them feel a part of this space, as well as the groups that I sit them in with their assigned seats. So SPED management or SPED strategies can work within the school library as well. I am just like you, figuring out this thing we call librarianship in an elementary school. However, that means that I've got to rely on what's already been created and make it my own. So fortunately, I have had professional development with Dr. Randy Sprick. I did so about 10 to 15 years ago regarding his system called CHAMPS, which is what I did at the beginning. I champed you. Conversation level. How do we communicate? How does that sound? What does it look like? How do you get help? Do I talk to an elbow partner at my table? Do I raise a hand to get help from my teacher? Do I write a note and put it on the table to let me know what is needed? I say I'm a visual learner. I need a hand up. Or just to participate, I need you to raise a hand. Activity. What are we going to do today? You know, our kids are, what are we going to do today, Ms. Rue? What are we going to do? You know, I'm going to let you know. So let's give me grace, and I always will give you grace. So that activity, what are they going to be doing? I keep it bottom line. Circulate, Redo board, citations, cursive writing, whatever the case is, I'm letting them know the bottom line activity. Not so much getting into my standards or objectives, but the bottom line of what we're going to do today. Book reporting. And these are things that I post on the board for them with my dry erase markers. Movement, M for movement. Can we move? Can I spin around in a chair while you're instructing in the computer chair? Can I just get up and get some tissue? Can I just get up and go to the restroom? How do I move? What is the expectation? Can I run, skip, hop, and jump to get into line, or do you want me to walk? Those are the expectations for movement that I let children know right away because of CHAMPS. P, participation. How do I participate? Yes, I expect you to always sit up and slant. Absolutely. I need you to be here looking like you're at your place of business, just like I am here at my place of business with you. So participating, are we going to be independent? Are we going to work with someone else? How are we interacting? This also buys into my classroom rules. We're going to be productive. That's a part of participating. We're not going to waste our time having daydreaming sessions or doodling in a notebook. What are the participation behaviors that I'm looking for? I set that up at first right away. And I say, if we do all of these things, we will be successful. That's where the S comes in for CHAMPS regarding safe and civil schools. Now, there's a lot of procedures in this resource. You see here, there's this second edition and then the third edition. So I have both on my professional development shelf within my own space, and I refer to them. However, it's a lot, and we don't have to think of everything as school librarians, but we do have to think of the bottom lines and consider those things. So yes, we should have a classroom management plan. And yes, I believe it should be high structure so that the children, because they're children as a parent, children need boundaries. They need to know, what does it look like to have a positive experience with you in this space? So don't be afraid to share those kind of details with them. They thrive on it. They need it because they want to be successful with you. Now, with all of this being said, I definitely was so happy to read an article from Dr. Robinson, who is at Towson University. He's the director of School Library Master's Degree Program. And an article in Knowledge Quest this year was titled School Library Cooperative Learning Model, Post-Pandemic Application for Student Management. This article made me feel so validated because when I walk into a public library, you don't have that kind of high structure. When I've walked into, or when school librarians have come to visit my school library, said, have you been in the Army? You're so structured. I've never been in the Army, but I do well when I know what's to happen. And my children expect that from me so that they can be successful with me. So this cooperative learning model includes having clear goals. That's CHAMPS. Have clear academic and behavioral expectations. That's CHAMPS as well. As far as academic, I'll get into that shortly because I do grade. We have classwork, homework, projects, and assessments, and we use PowerSchool. Highly structured. In this world that we're living in now, our children are being let loose because they have access to so many more things than I ever had at their age. So they need high structure in order to thrive and learn how it is to move about a space with other people. Have a clear rationale. What's the logic in this? Why do I want you to raise your hand or cover your nose when you want to get a tissue? Because I want to make sure that my eyes are on you when you're moving around and make sure that you're not tapping into someone or trying to get a giggle from a friend. I need to know what's happening at all times because, again, you're in my space that I share with you and the school community. School libraries also are designed for active learner participation. So I do have groups in my space and I group them by way of cardinal direction. So that's a way that I can integrate social studies. I have a north side, south side, east side, west side, and downtown. Be it in Chicago, those kinds of terms are relative to my children. However, if you're in a suburb at a school library, you may have other points that are familiar to your town, and maybe those become your groups, or maybe a sports groups or sports teams. Whatever works for you to get more buy-in and make them feel a part of your program. Challenging. I think what we do with little ones can always be a challenge, but it is an honor to be able to work with them and to support them. So I am going to challenge you by holding you accountable to what I am expecting of you behaviorally. Accountability is key. So that can be a challenge because maybe at home, they don't get challenged. Maybe at home, they can get up and walk around and do whatever they want to do, or even in their homeroom. Maybe they can get up out their seat and walk around and do whatever. But in this space, I challenge you to work with me and not against me. I celebrate diversity as well. I try because diversity isn't just about culture. It can be about gender. It could be about interests of different topics. Whatever the case is, I do celebrate it. So I try and sit students next to students that they normally may not have talked to or may not be friends with. And they have an opportunity to learn from. Now, I may have to change their seat later on if it doesn't work out. But at least I supported them in getting to know someone else and working with someone else that they're normally not working with. So that's why I don't use the roster for my seating assignments. I don't go alphabetically, especially since I've been here for so long. I know who my frequent flyers are as far as behavior. Those are usually the low-key leaders in the classroom. I know who are my shy students who really aren't comfortable talking to a group. However, I want them to feel empowered. So maybe I'll sit them next to someone who is more of a leader to help support them in becoming stronger within their voice as well. And school libraries, the system accommodating of various group speeds. So we have students that have IEPs. I make sure I read those IEPs and see where I can get in to support them. But like I said, our lesson plans include accommodations that are universal for all children. And there's nothing wrong with that. So grading. I spoke about that with PowerSchool. And with PowerSchool, I use the classwork category for participation grades. Every student earns a participation grade. I start my participation grades at 100 because that is a way that I can tap into their empowerment to say, I already know you're coming here with your 100%. I'm going to speak that into you. I'm going to expect that you're bringing your 100%. So it's up to you to keep it because I already feel that you are 100% because you came to school. You came here, you chose the school, your family wants you to be here. So you are already 100%. Now it's up to you to keep it. And if I have to redirect you once, 2.5 points gone. Now you're at a 97. Let's just round it up. If I redirect you again, we're going down to 95. And if we make it all the way down to 75%, I'm calling home. I'm going to call. But I love to make good phone call home as well. But the not so good phone calls home, I will do that as well. If you make it to a 75%, that's almost failing. And then that means I can have a one-to-one conference. So what you see here is my actual board. I was given the charge of creating a management system for my department when I stepped into this role. And so I came up with special stars. The one at the top, you see A, B, C, D, F, that's where I started before I ever became a department chair. I knew for my space, I need to let them know how they did and let their teachers know. So their teacher gets this special star slip when they pick them up. I record that. All of my teachers record that into this Google spreadsheet that you see below by homeroom. And every week when I go into my leadership team meetings, I give them the average for each department on how they behaved in all of their special areas classes for that week. So this special stars chart that you see with the green stars, that's laminated. So I have my dry erase marker. So that's a diagonal line with a redirection, and another one that's an X, 5 gone. Now you can earn more if when you come in within 3 minutes, if your whole class has made it through the entrance procedure, I'll add 5. So we can start with 105%. But it's up to you to keep it, like I said. You'll see that I have champs laid out. I used to have where I would move a magnetic, already had it predetermined of what the conversation level. Some classroom teachers have that predetermined, but I find it more useful to have the dry erase marker because I can change it in real time. And it's just easier, especially since I integrate printing, cursive, and typing into my program. So those fine motor skills, they need to see me actually modeling that for them. So that's how I take care of that. You see my signs, my group signs of downtown, east side, north side, south side, west side. If a group is on task with me, they get a star stick from that little container down there, just some little tongue depressors. And I put, thank you downtown. You're with me, not against me. I appreciate that. You've earned a star stick. 5 star sticks means you go to my treasure box at the end of our visit. Most times, groups do not make it to my star bucket. So it stays plenty full most of the time. So I'm someone who looks at life with the glass half full. So that's another reason why I start them at 100%. They need to know that I already believe in them. So it's up to you to keep that. So with this being said, I give you gratitude. I appreciate your time. I would love to take some questions or anything in the chat about what I have shared with you today.
Veronica asked, how do you use the term South Side, North, West Side in your library? Is that when giving directions on finding books?
No, that is in regards to my cooperative learning groups. So when I'm managing a group, when I'm managing a class, I give kudos to the East Side for turning it on and off. We just circulated a book, or the East Side is doing a great job at the collection. Now they're doing a great job with Dear Time. So that's how I interact with them in smaller groups. When I have centers, which I do the last week or two of of each quarter, I say, okay, East Side, I want you at centers 2 and 4. South Side, I want you. So that's how I use the centers. I use that terminology quite often. And even when they come for conferences, I ask them, show your parents where you sit. What side do you represent?
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. It's also a great way to not call out an individual kiddo, to get them. Yeah. But you have such great tips and tricks, Jamie. Thank you for sharing all of that. They're asking for your contact info in the chat. Okay. And then a lot of the chat conversation was about I have just 15, 20 to 25, 30, a short amount of time. Sure. So do you have maybe some things that are must do's or can do's in short, small?
Absolutely. So when you saw that slip, the A through F, that's when I was seeing class for 25 minutes every week, once a week. That procedure, that expectation is key. please stand outside of your LRC doors. Please, even if new teachers come to the LRC and I'm not out there because I've already been out there twice and they were late and I came back in and then they come, oh, we're late, we're coming in. No, freeze, reverse. I will meet you in the hallway because this is my space that I choose to share with you.
And then somebody asked if you'd be willing to do a Zoom walkthrough of your library structures and procedures.
Oh, right now? Yeah, I could.
We have like 3 minutes, so or 2 minutes. If you wanted to like show, it says showing how you set up things and items in your library.
Okay, let's see. How would I flip?
I think you'd have to just like turn your.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yep. I don't have any classes, so that's Maria again, my wonderful volunteer. This is the nonfiction collection. I am genre-fied in this last stack of the nonfiction collection. Nice. The short stacks are for all fiction. You see, I tried with Lexile levels. So most books have the Lexile levels. So that's another way to connect to what they're doing in classroom and their reading goals. I also, Mrs. Yin and I also are coaches for Battle of the Books with CPS. So this is my front collection, all past titles. And I also have, like I was saying, the seasonal Hispanic Heritage Month. So I have those out for students to choose from.
Nice.
We're working on signage. They were outdated with nonfiction. So we're going to get some new titles once it's weeded through, which is what Mrs. Yin has graciously decided to do. And you see, she has also genre-fied over here as well.
Love it. Love the Rugrats poster.
All right.
I also like how you use boxes to make like another layer on the display stand. That's so smart.
Yeah, actually, these were made these were made by a social studies teacher that's no longer here when Trump was running against Clinton. And we had a mock voting day or election day. So I kept them. And then I made this my center, my display because it is an election year.
Nice. I think we might have to wrap here, but Jamie's contact info is in the chat. And Jamie, are you presenting at any other upcoming conferences or anything?
Not that I know of, but I'd be happy to.
Okay, I might be in touch with you.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I have to go to the other room to get the other room started. So everyone make sure you get Jamie's contact information. Jamie, thank you so much for all this brilliant ideas. Really great.
Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure. It's good to support all of my fellow school librarians, and I hope to see you at ISLE.
Yes.
I hope to see you at ISLE. I will be there. I hope we can join chapters. I am the chapters function representative for ISLE. So if you want to find out which chapters in your area, please come to the conference. Let me know. Email me. Let me know. I'll be happy to support you.
Oh, can you put your email? I think people are asking for.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Okay.